Well, I think firstly, the thing to say is that the HR market has gone ballistic. So recruitment has been unprecedented in its volume and its variety and type of recruitment that we're doing. The emerging markets in my space right now are very much focused around technology, whether that's come from home workers needing new technology to facilitate them working in a collaborative way, but from a hybrid or remote model, or it's the new emerging markets that we're seeing come to the fore. And a lot of those startup and scale up businesses are very much in that AI, tech, data processing, disrupting that business process outsourcing model. And therefore the types of recruitment we're seeing are those that can establish an HR function from scratch for a business that's moving really agilely and at pace, and needing someone who can come to the table with both the creative and big picture mentality, but the knowledge to actually implement, embed, and have adopted the people policies and practices to maximize that value proposition to the business. Yeah, and there's always that match of technical capability with the personality that goes with it. And when we're talking about emerging and establishing businesses that are growing, I would actually say the technical expertise is almost taken as read. But what we do want, on the other hand, is the characterfulness that has that drive and personality that will take people on a journey and encourage people to follow them and adopt new ways of working. That personality has to be really engaging. So we're seeing, yes, the technical toolkit with the policy, the process, the keep me out of jail knowledge, but that's almost taken as read. I'm looking for someone who can mix that red profile from an insights perspective of drive and charisma and personality with enough blue to give the detail orientated, really sort of precise, data orientated, structured, measured way of doing things, so that they can deliver on that return on investment and give confidence to their key stakeholders, typically the business owners and the investors, that what they're doing is value add in a commercial sense. I think if you talk to businesses, there is a desire to get people back together. Intuitively, we know people want to work together with people, and you've got a business saying, let's bring people back to the office in whatever guise. On the flip side of that, the top talent is saying, I've established a new working pattern for the last 2 years here, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. I don't want to change that. So I've got brilliant businesses with lovely, lovely roles that are saying, but it's 5 days a week in the office. And I'm not, as a consequence, being able to attract the best talent to those roles. There has to be some way of figuring that out. And I think 2022 will be a year of really establishing how that land settles, because it isn't there at the moment. There is a mismatch between desire of the business and desire of the talent. In terms of how we fundamentally get that talent into the business, I think there's going to always be compromise. I think businesses have got to think more fluidly about how you collaborate, what technology you embrace, and what demands you fundamentally put on that talent to ensure you attract that through the door. Move as quickly as you possibly can. There are so many roles that I'm working on at the moment where the preferred candidates have simply been lost in the process before we've even got to the third stage of interview. So whilst I don't want anyone to cut short their process or to recruit without that empirical evidence and confidence that you've really assessed the candidate to be the right candidate for you, I need you to fundamentally determine that process, scope it out, schedule it, and stick to the schedule to enable me to manage that expectation with the candidate. So that actually, if it's 3 stages of the process and a number of stakeholders are involved in that, I can manage that and set the expectation with the candidate and align it to other processes they might be in. What we are definitely finding, our candidates, they can only accept and they will only accept one role. 9 times out of 10 at the moment, that's a counter offer where they are. So the movement of talent is restricted. but they are in play for 4 or 5 roles at any one time. So how do we manage the process so that they have the choice and ideally choose your role? If you delay that, if you add another layer in, if you decide you want to bring a different stakeholder into the mix, or indeed you want to run a behavioural profile or psychological processing, that fundamentally will switch that candidate off. The other thing I would advise against at the moment is asking the candidate to do a presentation. The delay that takes and the amount of work they have to do, whilst I want the candidate to really want your job, actually it will switch them off to other processes, and where there is an array of choice, you have to make your choice be the easy choice, be the most desirable choice. So getting your process to be slick and speedy is definitely the best advice I can give you right now. You know, we talk about controlling the process and setting it out from the beginning. I think managing expectations on both sides and being the conduit to do that. The old adage is communication is key. We have to be talking to people. So we need to interview the candidate and present to you the candidate interview notes with what's good about this candidate, but what else you want to explore at interview. We need to get expedient feedback from that candidate to the client and from the client to the candidate. And we need to understand where there's any potential breakdown in that process, whether it's the flexibility of working pattern, whether it's how many days you're in the office, whether it's what the travel requirement is in the role. We've got to be really, really transparent about it from the off, because if we are not, and there are new things that come into that, that candidate will be lost, and lost very, very quickly. So controlling the process, getting the clients and the candidates to stick to the schedule is really important. I think advising our clients on where the market sits is key. We used to be in a position where we would present maybe a long list of 8 candidates and a short list of 5 is agreed upon for first stage interview. My advice right now is if we've got 3 strong candidates, particularly in something like talent acquisition, which is so highly sought after for talent at the moment, don't wait for another 3. See those 3, and if there is a candidate amongst those 3 that really ticks the boxes, move on them, and move on them really quickly and make them feel wanted and desired, and that will land you that top talent. I don't think the market supports anymore a long list, short list, elongated process. Find the talent, jump on it, make it wanted, offer the candidate. There's nothing better than feeling wanted to enable that candidate to make a very speedy decision and join your business.